How's it? You well? Sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, and let's get into this week's episode of Forealzies Friday. Remnant 2 is out. It took Remnant 1 months to sell 1 million copies, where Remnant 2 did it in just 4 days. Although the game's been out for a week, it's actually managed to sell a full 1 million copies in just 4 days, according to a post on the Remnant website. For reference, the first Remnant took 2 months after its August 2019 release to reach the same number of sales. Remnant 2 nearly summited Steam's most played charts barely 2 days after its release, reaching the coveted number 2 spot behind the ageless and unkillable CSGO. Its peak concurrent player count was well ahead of Remnant 1's even then, and it's only increased since. Remnant 2 deserves its success. It's an enjoyable and finite game in an arena filled to the brim with doomed live service boondoggles that fade away almost as soon as they're made. It's pretty good too, a solid co-op shooter that knows what it is and what it wants to achieve. Baldurs Gate 3 passes 400,000 players on PC just hours after launch. After years of development, Baldurs Gate 3 has finally launched on PC and is quickly putting up big numbers. On Steam, the game has exceeded 400,000 concurrent players just hours after launch. That makes Baldurs Gate 3 one of 2023's biggest PC launches, beating out titles like Star Wars Jedi Survivor and the remake of Resident Evil 4 by some initial metrics. Baldurs Gate 3 is the top-selling game on Steam right now. Larian Studios founder and creative director Sven Vinke, excuse me if I pronounced that wrong, released a nice message to herald the game's launch. He wrote, "I'm super proud of what our team accomplished, and I hope you will have an incredible amount of fun exploring what we prepared for you." Larian worked on the game for more than 6 years with more than 400 people contributing to its development. While the game has officially launched, it came out early on Steam Early Access where more than 2.5 million people played and provided feedback. The result is a beautiful, rich universe where you can escape from your daily worries, experience adventure and wonder, and have many cool and exciting encounters. It's a place where your identity and choice matters, where surprise lies around every corner, and where your agency is truly rewarded, Winker said. Baldurs Gate 3 comes to PlayStation in September. An Xbox version could follow sometime later, but not until Larian and Microsoft can figure out some technical issues with the Xbox Series X. On July 25 this year, a YouTuber named Halion uploaded a video called "Why No One Has Beaten the Max Heat in Hades or Probably Never Will." It was a breakdown of the hardest possible run-through of the Supergiant's incredible 2020 roguelike action RPG and why it is effectively unbeatable. The probabilities are just too low. Activating all of the game's difficulty boosting Pact of Punishment modifiers turns a challenging game into a grueling gauntlet. It ratchets up the game's difficulty level to its maximum of 64, with enemies buffed to the max, the player character as weak as can be, and only 5 minutes to complete each area. You'd need to be both immensely skilled at the game and securing an impossible string of lucky drops during your unseeded playthrough to even make a success a possibility. As far as the community knows, it had never happened before and it was never going to. Just 8 days after the video was posted, someone has gone and done it. As reported by Games Radar, a Hades challenge runner and speedrunner named Angel1C has successfully achieved the impossible, clearing what is apparently the world's first unseeded, unmodded 64 heat playthrough of Hades a mere 3 years after the game released in full. It's an incredible feat, and Angel1C should really be proud of themselves. Now we have some news about Twitch and CSGO. Twitch has banned controversial CSGO skin gambling sites. Twitch's crackdown on gambling continues as the company has announced a ban on CSGO skin gambling sponsorships. In the community guidelines on its website, Twitch has updated the terms to include CSGO skin gambling. No promotion or sponsorship of skins gambling is prohibited under our policy, Twitch says in a response to a question asking if the skins gambling was allowed on the platform. The idea of gambling on CSGO skins has long been a practice for players and streamers of the game. And while it's only sponsorships that are currently banned on the platform, it could be the first step to further action against a highly unregulated area. Recently, one of CSGO's new players opened a 387 pattern blue gem karambit skin that is worth well over $100,000. In another instance, Dr. Disrespect, one of the biggest streamers in the world, opened a M9 bayonet skin, a Doppler in-factory new sapphire that has been known to be worth up to $20,000. In addition to these two examples, there have been numerous streams from creators where they spend countless amounts of money opening CSGO cases with the hope of getting a valuable skin. One such example of it going poorly is when streamer OwnPixel spent $130,000 on cases only to get $4,000 worth of returns. It's ultimately publicizing what is essentially gambling, but with no real control or regulation over what can become an addictive habit for players, resulting in the loss of thousands of dollars, if not more. One does not simply buy the One Ring. Well, unless you're Post Malone. I mean, after all, why not? Why shouldn't Post Malone buy the One Ring? Last year, American rapper and singer Post Malone dropped $800,000 on a rare Black Lotus card signed by the artist who drew it, making it the most expensive Magic the Gathering card purchase ever. Until now, he may have paid as much as $2.6 million for the One Ring, a one-of-a-kind card released in June. According to lore in J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, the One Ring was forged in the fires of Mount Doom for the dreadful sorcerer Sauron. However, through fate or fortune, perhaps both, the trading card embodiment has landed in the hands of an unlikely hero, Mr. Post Malone. He purchased the single print card from TikTok user Brooke Trafton, who posted a video on social media Tuesday after finding the card. In the video, which has racked up nearly 4 million views, Trafton's handshakes as he examines the card. The card was found to be in mint condition when it was rated by the Sports and Trading Card Grading Company, Professional Sports Authenticator or PSA. The purchase price for the card hasn't been disclosed, but the gaming news site, The Gamer, reported that the card received 2 million bounty when it was first released in the Lord of the Rings Tale of the Middle-earth set in late June. Trafton wrote in a TikTok post that he has played Magic the Gathering since childhood and was tempted to keep the card for himself. But, he said, for a guy like me, being able to sell it is life-changing. I just really hoped it would go to someone who would appreciate it as much as I do. Trafton shared a video on TikTok and on X-Corp, the social media platform formerly known as Twitter, which shows him meeting Malone for the sale of the card. Trafton said that the rapper's purchase changed his life and that he's forever grateful. This is my dream come true, Trafton wrote. Meeting Post Malone and him buying the One Ring card from me is literally a moment straight out of a fairy tale. That concludes this week's episode of Forealzies Friday. If you haven't eaten food yet, don't forget to eat, don't forget to hydrate, and most importantly, don't forget that I love you.